We're live right now, and
Okay.
some of them are listeners, so
Yeah.
I'm so excited. This is going to be a wonderful time. I can't wait.
You're yelling, Mike.
I look like Bert.
Yes, you always do. You need to have the little tuft of hair on the top.
Oh, dude.
Hey, Bert.
I go into the bookstore, I ask the clerk, can you tell me where the self-help section is? And she said, why don't you try to find that yourself?
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome, the podcast for people who crave the attention of others. Here are your hosts, Mike and Darren.
Hey, I'm Darren.
I am Mike.
Welcome to Irritable Dad Syndrome. This is episode 171. We're very excited that you're here. Aren't we, Mike?
Yes, we are exceptionally excited. We're also distracted by this big microphone boomy thing. This is only the 171st
that's been in
episode.
front of your face every night for the past 163
It's just odd.
episodes.
It just looks odd to me tonight. I don't know why. I just
Mike's
don't.
in a mood.
I'm in a mood. So yeah, tonight we've got a bunch of stuff we're going to talk about. Darren asked a very stupid question.
Good tease.
It's a very stupid question. I've got to answer that, and I also want to talk about the fact that I'm going to my 30th high school reunion.
Wow.
Hello, 30.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about how I have a problem with commercials about tax collectors.
Okay.
So it's going to be a pretty good show.
It is.
Yeah.
If you like what we do, and you do, I mean, you wouldn't be here if you didn't.
Come on.
Go to Irritable Dad
You
Syndrome.
know you like it.
Go to irritabledadsyndrome.com. Follow us wherever you get your podcast. Follow us on those things.
Yep.
Interact with us.
Yeah.
Do all those things. Follow us on the Twitter or X.
You know, we love replying to messages that you send. So if you have
Yeah.
a question or a comment, or if you have a question for Dave Lay or something like that, let us know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I restarted an old channel of mine because I got tired. Longtime viewers and listeners of the show, there's been some points where they get a notification the show's gone live, and they come on to see their two favorite heads. And then all they see are people getting destroyed.
Yeah. It's Mike playing
It's me
his
playing
Vigi
my
games.
Vigi games. So
Yeah.
I've moved. I've separated them like I should have done a long time ago. If you'd like to hang out with me while I play the Vigi games, it's on Twitch, the same place that this one is right now. My name is Rock Hardly. No space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
just
it's Rock
follow me.
Hardly, NOSPACE.
What happened?
Yeah.
No. Okay. All right. Anyway, go to Twitch, enter that in, and come join the fun.
Yeah.
So how you been?
I've been doing pretty good. You know, today, the day that we were recording this episode is September 12th, and it's kind of a roller coaster of a day. It has been for a couple of years. September 12th is, this is the 20th anniversary of Johnny Cash passing.
Oh.
I love Johnny Cash.
Okay.
I
Yeah, I
love
do
Johnny
too,
Cash so
yeah.
much. And he died the day after John Ritter, comedy legend. John
Really?
Ritter passed away. Yeah.
Really?
So that was, like one day after another.
Same year? Like literally one day?
Yeah, John
Wow.
Ritter passed away late, like, I don't know, like 11:30 on September 11th. And then Johnny Cash died on the 12th.
Is that how
And
Johnny
so-
Cash died? Of shock? They came in and they said
Sorry,
Jack Tripper
he's
died?
Like, he's like,
What?
What? Hey, what happened? Boom. Yeah. Just dropped right there in the grave. So we found out about both of them on the same day.
Yeah.
So as a Three's Company fan and just a major Johnny Cash fan, it was really tough. And it makes me feel so old knowing that it's been 20 years since Johnny Cash has passed away.
Oh, my God.
How is it 20 years, you know? But I
right.
love Johnny Cash's music. So, I mean, God, go and listen to anything from Johnny Cash. It'll just make you feel amazing. Something else happened on September 12th. This is the 2-year anniversary of Tim Cable, my good friend from Tennessee, passing away.
Yeah.
I miss him dearly. God, I wish he was around today, and I'd love to hear one of his stories.
Yeah.
And so it's just hard. But a good thing that happened on September 12th is that's the day that we got our rabbit Figgy.
Okay.
And we got Figgy because I'm like, God, I need something good to happen today,
Yeah.
the day Tim Cable passed.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so it's kind of September 12th is always weird because you're just filled with emotions. I miss Tim. I miss Johnny Cash. It's just, yeah. So I'm hoping that this podcast, recording this, really perks me up.
Well, let's start by pointing out a stupid question that you asked
Yeah?
and pissed me off.
Yeah?
This will help your mood.
Okay.
sometimes I have music blaring down here
Yeah.
when you come in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And I had the U2. You've recently told me that I can begin to refer to them
Sure.
by their name.
Why not? It's our podcast. We can do whatever
That's
we
right.
want.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I came down. You were jamming to Desire.
something off of Rattle and Hum.
Yeah.
And I just made the comment. So I am going to see U2 in Vegas at the Sphere.
The Saphir.
Here.
Why are you emphasizing
Here.
the H?
Yeah.
Cool whip.
Sphere. Cool whip. I'm going to see them at the Saphir.
At the Saphir.
To see the Octung Baby. My favorite album, their best album.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm preemptively attacking you.
I don't know why you're attacking me because I like that
Preemptively
album.
attacking you. Okay.
It's
So-
not my favorite album, but I don't dislike Octung Baby.
So I got into them, and at the time they were on the Zoo TV tour, and I did not know how to get tickets. Guys, I was a teenager. I didn't know these things.
there were lots
And
of things you didn't
You
know.
couldn't
then.
get on the interwebs back then. You had to
No.
know a guy.
Yeah. What you had to do was, because I remember buying concert tickets, you had to stand in line,
Yeah.
sometimes overnight,
Yeah.
or call with your credit card ready
Yeah.
and wait and let it ring and ring and ring and ring and ring.
Yeah.
Because I tried for, I think, 4 hours before I got my Eric Clapton tickets.
And here's the thing.
Yeah.
When you live in Tutankhamun, Ohio, like
Right.
I did, they don't have
Right.
the U2 ticket store next to the Backy place and across from the Tar
in
store.
Johnson City, we went to Katz Records.
Yeah,
We
so-
waited in line all
and-
night to get our concert tickets.
So I
Oh my
missed that
God.
tour.
Uh-huh.
And but I saw the Pop Mart tour the next. Now
Okay.
I enjoyed the Pop Mart tour because I got to see them for the first time. I've seen them on every tour since, but I've
Yep.
always wanted to see Zoo TV.
Yeah.
My entire life, I've always said. Some people say if they had a time machine, they would go back and they would take care of Hitler, not help him out, but like
Right. Yeah,
destroy him, or
Yeah.
whatever. I would
Right.
use it to go back and see one of the Zoo TV shows.
Yeah.
I'd be selfish. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I would be.
No.
And now,
All the things you could do.
all the things that's what I would do. Welcome to the show.
I'd go back and watch the A-Team. That was a good show.
Yeah. So, exactly.
Yeah.
Airwolf.
Yeah.
So anyway,
Uh-huh.
I got super excited, and I've also always had the dream, I don't know why, of going west, like traveling somewhere to see a concert. I've
Yeah.
literally had dreams about this,
Yeah.
like me and Bess and the crew just going out there.
I want to go to Red Rocks sometime.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this is like a dream come true for me,
Yeah.
and it's like Zoo TV. I'm going to see it. I'm going to see a version of it.
Yeah.
And then I pointed out to you, I started this fight. I said, there's a chance that they will do like they did on the Joshua Tree tour, and they'll start with other music that came before the album and then feed into the album and play it in order. And I
Yeah.
said,
Yeah.
innocently, if they do that, there will be a riot, and I'll probably lead the riot. And you said one of the stupidest things you've ever said. You said, and I quote,
Why?
That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
I just want to know
And
why.
you didn't realize that I was going to lose my. When you,
No, back up for a second.
Okay.
I know that when I pull into your house
Yeah.
and I'm walking up the driveway, that anything I do or say or not do or say can make you lose your.
Here's the thing,
We've done this for 3 years, kids.
Octung Baby. They have to start with Zoo Station. They have to. They
Okay.
can't not. They also then need to go into The Fly and then
Okay.
follow that up with Even Better Than Real Thing. And I've said earlier, literally like 30 minutes before,
Uh-huh.
Zoo Station is the Welcome to the Show tune.
Yeah.
Then you need The Fly. The Fly is the one that just kicks you in the nuts and
Okay.
says, this is not your grandma's U2. We've got black leather and weird sunglasses now. And then you go to Even Better Than Real Thing, which is the, hey, look at all this fancy technological that we have now.
Right.
We're going to blow your minds with it. How would you not do that when you're in the here? You can't. You can't not do that.
Okay.
So,
Well, for your sake, I hope and I pray
yeah.
that they play those songs in that order.
Let me tell you
so
something.
that you don't get your shorts in a wad.
If they come out,
Mm-hmm.
there will be cheering and stuff.
It's just a smattering of applause.
Just smattering of applause, a few golf claps. But when they walk out, if they start with something pre-Octung Baby, people will cheer, but I guarantee you 75% of the audience will be doing what I'm doing. Arms folded, staring very intently at them like, when you start, you better go to Zoo Station, then The Fly, then even better.
Now-
or there's going to be, there's going to be trouble. Okay.
Can I?
Yes, Darren.
Are you going to go and see if you can find the set list? Because I knew the set list before I went to see Offspring, and I've got to stop doing that.
Yeah,
because now I know what song they're going to play next, unless they are constantly mixing up the show, like Springsteen does. Springsteen never plays the same show one night after the other.
Yeah, they move things around a lot. From what people have told me, the Vegas acts are pretty set.
Yeah,
and I think with
I
would
think it'd have to be with all the
shit
razzle dazzle.
all the razzle dazzle that they're going to have going on.
Yeah,
they've got to pretty much do what they said they were going to do.
Yeah,
otherwise the show guy is going to be like, whatever.
Yeah, I wouldn't think you'd be able to wing it.
Here's the deal.
Okay,
and your question is, am I going to go on a media blackout? Or am I going to learn everything that they do? Because I'm not seeing them on the first showing. I'm seeing them later.
Okay.
So I've thought about just the Iron Curtain comes down. I don't want to know anything about it. I want to be amazed.
Yeah.
But then there's the other thing where they love to just do things like appear places, like show up. Like when we saw them in Louisville, Bono was he just walked up the thing. He's like, hey, what's going on?
Yeah.
People have described that if you go 3 hours before a show and you stand by a door, they always come in through a side door. They're always ready to hug people and sign autographs.
Yeah.
They do the same on the outside. During the Joshua Tree tour, people would figure out what hotel they stayed in, and they would come down to the lobby and hang out with fans. When they stay in places like they play like 2 or 3 nights in New York, people would find them around New York just being them.
Yeah.
So what I don't want to do is see the show and then someone say, yeah, can you believe Bono was down there getting the milkshake? I mean, he does that before every show, and,
right?
And everybody who wanted to see him could see. And I so I'm the U2, the U2 sphere. You've got another 30 to 40 seconds if you want to skip ahead. The U2 Sphere Group have already anticipated this problem. And they are offering up to create a separate thread of people who want to know things like, is Bono going to be at the M&M store at 3 p.m. on Sunday? But say nothing about the show. I'm serious. You're not allowed to say anything about the show.
M&M store. He's going to be trying to make out with the green one with the high heels.
Here's something. Don't they have like the wax museum where they have wax things look like
in
the
Vegas?
Thing? Don't they have one there?
I don't know that they have one in Vegas. I know that they have one in Hollywood.
I think they have one in Vegas.
Okay.
Because Shaq did this. Have you seen the thing where Shaq did this on Jimmy Fallon? He took his wax thing out and it was actually Shaq.
Oh, yeah.
And people were taking pictures and he'd reach up and like grab them. That is such a U2 thing for them to do. Just like take their things out and just be there and be like, hey.
That's what she said.
I want to know if they're doing it.
Yeah. I would too.
You're listening to Irritable Dad Syndrome, Cincinnati's comedy podcast.
I watch this show every day of my life, sir. I think it's the best show on the air ever that has been.
This weekend is my 30th high school reunion.
Wow. You going to go?
Yeah.
Okay.
Originally, I wasn't.
You're wearing your Irritable Dad Syndrome t-shirt?
I think I'm going to.
Why not?
Yeah. I think I'm going to.
Come on.
Yeah. So we're going to like a game, tailgating a game, which Bess has been laughing about that. She's like, is this going to be the first high school game you went to of your high school in a reunion?
Did you go?
Because I never went to the games.
You never went to any games?
No, I maybe 1 or 2, but I was a nerd. So that's going to be a new thing for me. But I'm going to have Andrew and Charlie with me, so they will probably want to do that so they're not bored to tears. Yeah. And then the next day, there's some restaurant called Calamity Jane's.
Okay.
And they're just... people are going to be there. So I'll go there, eat a burger, and then go home and then come here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, I hope you have a good time.
It's going to be amazing.
I went to my 10th, and at my 10th high school reunion, you walked in and it was like nothing at all had changed. One table was all the cheerleaders. One table was all the football players. One table was all like the German club. You know, seriously.
Yeah.
I mean, all the cliques still hung out with all the cliques, and I was like, "Damn, nothing at all has changed."
That's how my 20th was. So let me tell you, my 10th was awesome because became a different person, and people who listen to the show who knew me then and know me now, I'm a completely different person than when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I kind of cut loose at the 10 year and hung out with people, talked to people that I never talked to during high school.
Right.
And I had a blast.
Yeah.
The 20th year, the number of people that went was like cut down to a third, and it was kind of cliquey. My favorite story from my 20th year reunion is that a part of it was at a restaurant or like a diner, and I saw a guy that was in my class that I hadn't taught. He wasn't at the 10 year, and I hadn't talked to him since like 8th grade.
Right.
We were buddies in junior high, and then you kind of grow apart from people, or you get different interests.
Sure.
And he and I hung out because he had a Sega Genesis and I had a Sega Genesis.
Well,
I mean, there you go. So we were the only people in the school that had a Sega Genesis. Everybody else had Nintendo.
Yeah.
Nerds.
Dorks.
So we're talking about those things. And I see him and I'm like, I don't want to say his name because I don't want to,
Cliff.
Yeah, I don't want to dox him. So
Yeah.
Cliff. Yeah, it's like, Cliff, how's it going, man? He's like, holy crap, man. Hey, what's up? We're talking for a few minutes. Bess is there. I was like, this is my wife, Bess, blah, 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 blah. And he's just like, there's a pause in the conversation. He's like, so what are you doing here? And I'm like, this is our reunion.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, what? He's like, our reunion. And I'm like, yeah. And he looked at me and he looked around and he saw all the people in our class. And he's just like, mother. I felt bad for him.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for him. He didn't say anything to him.
He worked there.
He got bit. He worked there. He was a waiter there. He was so pissed. I hope he's at this one.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. It really made me sick because he's a really good guy.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. And
But I went to my
Old
10th.
Cliff.
I went to the 20th. The 20th was night and day different than the 10th.
Okay.
Everybody was, it's like all the, I don't know, all the jocks had calmed down. All the nerds had gotten a little stupid,
Yeah. Yeah.
Everybody just...
The nerds had all had their first beer. The jocks had started to have
the
prolapses
nerds had
and
finally
things.
got married and had sex. And it was great. I mean, it was really, really cool.
So it seems like the opposite,
Yeah, exactly.
flipped from
My
mine,
10th one was all clicky, and the 20th one was fantastic. I didn't go to my 30th. They didn't have a 30th reunion. They had like an all
you can eat buffet.
no, like a
Golden Corral.
mega reunion, like from if you graduated between 85 and 95.
Oh, the hell with that!
And I was like, well, I don't.
Hell?
Yeah, I had friends who graduated before me and he graduated after me, but I wanted to go to the 1988 high school reunion. So
you're the stinky kid that was always standing next to the locker, but you're not in my class, so I don't know who you are.
So funny thing, at the 20th, I had won an Emmy Award.
Oh.
And I brought it with me to show to my friend Nathan.
Okay.
And Nathan thought this was the coolest thing that he had ever seen.
Yeah.
And he's like, give me that. And he's like running he had a picture.
Telling everyone that he won an
He
Emmy.
had a picture of it. He goes, Darren Cox? Darren over there? He won an Emmy. Darren won an Emmy. Darren won an Emmy. He's telling everybody about this.
Yeah.
But was I the most popular person there? No, because this girl, Corinne, was a brain surgeon.
Corinne.
She became a brain surgeon. I was like, well, I guess I have to win an Academy Award to compete with that.
Coming this December, the motion picture event that shook you to your core returns. Alone, dropped in the middle of nowhere, with a horizon filled with horror in every direction you look. What do you do when there's no place to go, no place to hide, and danger all around? You run for your life. You run like hell. Open Field, rated R. Back in theaters for a limited time only.
I have some news, okay? Many times on this podcast, we have mentioned that we were trying to get Nick Offerman to be a guest on the show. Mm-hmm. I have an update.
Okay.
Nick Offerman
Yes.
has officially turned us down.
Just give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Wait. I worry what you just heard was, give me a lot of bacon and eggs. What I said was, give me all the bacon and eggs you have. Do you understand?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's like, he responded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows I exist.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't, but
Yeah.
his person, Sarah or Samantha or whatever.
Yeah.
I said, listen, we are a comedy podcast out of Cincinnati.
Uh-huh.
Nick's going to be in Cincinnati.
Yeah.
We can record here, or if it's more convenient, we
Oh,
can
yeah.
do over the internets,
Uh-huh.
and we can do, we would love to have him on the show, and it'd
Yeah.
be just a big treat. And like I said, like a whole paragraph.
Uh-huh.
And she replied, Nick's not available.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's not available.
Okay.
But thanks.
You know what? Okay.
Yeah.
Can
But- And then I also have tried a few times to get David Letterman to be a guest, and I heard thanks for the offer.
Okay.
So
Yeah, well, they're responding.
exactly.
I got so excited when Pussifer was in town.
Yeah.
I sent an email to them at pussifer.com. I don't remember where. They actually had an email that you could like send an email like, hey.
Yeah.
And I asked if they would be willing to do like an interview or talk to us.
Yeah.
And I got a response back from someone that said no.
No!
No.
I don't think so.
But
They said, nuh-uh.
Well, they said, we appreciate the offer. We don't see how we can fit it in at this time.
That's what she said.
We'd like to keep your contact information in case we could do something in the future.
Yeah.
Now, I looked at the email, and I think it was somebody related to someone in the band,
Okay.
like an actual person.
My daddy says he can't do the podcast.
That's
He's
right.
like,
Yeah.
okay.
I was like, that's awesome. And
Yeah.
then I also got friended. I friended the guitarist from Pussifer.
Okay.
And I asked him, would you like to be on the thing? And he has neither responded to that question nor responded to anything else that I've said, but he has remained
Yeah.
my friend
Yeah.
on there. So,
But-
it's progress.
But yeah, I mean, I reached out to Nick 2 or 3 times over Instagram, and then I went to his official website,
Yeah.
and there's a thing for booking engagements. And so I guess that's where people say, hey, we want to pay you $25,000 to do, to play at our thing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
We don't have 25.
No, we do not. But anyway, it would have been great if Nick could have been on the show.
Yeah. I don't know what the hell we would say to him. The entire thing would be like the Chris Farley.
Yeah, that was awesome.
You remember
Yeah.
when you
were on The Last
thing?
of Us?
Yeah.
That was great. Yeah. It would have been good. But, and his loss.
That's right.
There, you know what? We've been doing this podcast for 3 years.
Yeah.
3 more years, maybe he'll come on and we'll say, gosh, you know what? We reached out to you forever ago. And he'll say, I'm sorry I couldn't make it.
Yeah. We have an audience of tens.
We do.
This portion of Irritable Dad Syndrome is brought to you by Tromofizerol. Hi, I'm Dave Lay, and there comes a time when you reach a certain age and you start to get aches in certain uncomfortable places. That's why there's a new product on the market called Tromofizerol. With Tromofizerol, you can get back to doing the things you used to do without causing any problems to your, well, I think you know exactly what I'm talking about. Just take one Tromofizerol capsule in the morning with breakfast and another before bed, and you'll notice a world of difference. Don't take Tromofizerol if you're allergic to Tromofizerol. Side effects may include dryness around the knees and elbows, short-term memory loss, inability to make coherent sentences, delusional thoughts of unimaginable strength, sudden urges to eat expired dairy products, and body odor. Ask your doctor if Tromofizerol is right for you. Now, back to the show.
Okay, last week I was driving over here, and occasionally I will listen to terrestrial radio. And a commercial came on saying, "Are you tired of tax collectors constantly calling and bullying you? You don't have to take this. You can fight back." And they're talking about all these things to do to get the tax collectors off your back. And this
Who has tax collectors on their back?
Well, this
Willie
pisses me-
Nelson.
Well, people who don't pay their taxes.
Yes.
And I don't understand this. How do you get away with that? How do you get away with don't get bullied around? These people are bloodsuckers and they're relentless and they won't stop. No, they won't stop because you're supposed to pay your taxes.
Well, I'll tell you this.
It's like getting a speeding ticket, not paying it. Tired of the police constantly wanting you to go to court? You can fight back.
They will come for you years later if you screwed up. I found this out. I actually had screwed up my filing when we lived near Dayton, I put down the wrong school district because I didn't know we didn't have kids at the time. I don't know what school district I'm in.
Yeah, why would you?
I assumed it was the town that we lived in. But we lived right on the border, and it was the other school system that was farther away and in a different town. But for some reason, it was the one that we were actually in.
Right.
But I filed for 2-3 years like that, and then we were here for a couple of years, and then I got a letter from the IRS. They type in all caps. Yeah. They don't. The IRS is a boomer. They just they're yelling at you when you open the thing, and it's all official. It's you have made a critical error on and then it's just in a different font. You can tell it's typed by a different dude or dudette. I don't want to be, but I called him, and I had an exceptionally businesslike person on the other end. The IRS does not hire comedians,
no,
or pleasant people,
no.
And he said, you owe, and I think it was like $756.92.
Okay.
And I said, okay. And he said, how will you be paying that today? I was like, well, I didn't know what this was about. And I don't really have that money with me right now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can take a credit card over the phone. I was like, okay. Can I send a check or something? I said, I'm not comfortable with giving someone the credit card over the phone saying they're from the IRS. And there was a long pause. I remember this vividly. And he said, sir, you called me.
So you were talking, to Nick Offerman.
Yeah. You called me. I am with the Internal Revenue Service. You called us.
Sir, you called me.
So I couldn't argue with that logic. And I was standing there with a letter from them. What's
hilarious is that you're so concerned about giving your credit card number. But he says, and by the way, we have front row seats for you too. Yeah. Okay.
So I just gave the
3-digit code is.
I just gave him my stuff, and he said, you'll receive a letter that we receive within 30 to 60 days.
Yeah.
And then I never heard it. I did get the letter, and I filed it somewhere and lost it. But anyway, the point is, I've been terrified every time I do my taxes. I'm like, you can make a mistake and they'll let you know right then. But TurboTax will let you do whatever the hell.
Yeah, but
later they can come back.
But that's not the point. These commercials flat out say if you owe back taxes.
If you owe them.
If you owe back taxes.
You already owe them.
Yes. And you want to get the IRS off your back, but the one commercial said, "Don't let them bully you around."
It's the government.
Yeah, I mean, you have. I'm sorry, you have to pay your taxes.
I've only been an American for 48 years.
I've been ahead of you for a few. Yeah.
And I didn't get straight 100% on all my government and history classes,
right?
But I'm pretty sure that if you won't pay the taxes that you are supposed to pay, the government has methods to extract those funds from you.
Yeah.
They have places that they can put you with bars.
Yes.
They have
yes.
They have entire groups of people with weapons that can come to you and be very persuasive.
Yes, they escort you from one place, your home, into a new home,
which is less homely.
Some people call like the Gray Bar Hotel.
Yeah. I mean, it's not Russia. It's not like they take you and then no one ever hears from you again.
But yeah, and you said Willie Nelson. Yeah, Willie Nelson owed back taxes for a long time.
Did he ever pay him?
Yeah.
Okay.
He finally settled everything and worked out a deal with them.
Yeah.
And got that all square. But yeah, it's like, I get it.
Yeah.
But still, you gotta
pay.
You gotta pay your taxes. Yeah. And I don't know
There's nobody you can really go to.
Right.
You can't. Who are you going to call? It's like,
and then it's like by the time you call this tax collector service, you pay them all this money.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's the approach that they take.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most American thing I've ever heard in my life. Every other country, they would not even question. It's like, oh, my God, I owe this. Please don't murder my children. I will give you the money.
And I think what they probably do is set up like some type of payment plan.
Okay.
Where it's like you can't pay it all in one chunk, but you can divvy it up a little
Yeah.
bit. And I think that's what they end up doing. But yeah, they flat out just called the IRS bullies. And you can't let them talk to you like that. It's like, yeah, they can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. This is like, yeah. Like I get that mentality and I get those words, but this is the one where they can.
Yeah.
Yeah. They and do.
And do. And will.
Yeah. So.
Last week you were talking about Marbles had a cough. Did you want to talk about this week or not?
Oh yeah, I teased that and I never talked about it.
No, you
again.
didn't.
So yeah, Marbles had this horrendous cough. I mean, it sounded like. Okay, so let's back up.
Okay.
Marbles is not a what would be considered a Rhodes Scholar.
It's
Not the smartest
No,
dog
he's
that
not.
ever walked.
No.
He tends to just eat whatever is there, objects. It was food, whatever. He'll just ingest them.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he started yakking, it sounded like he had something stuck in his throat. I'm like, he ate another pen, or he ate a spring.
Ate the remote control.
Ate the remote control, and he's trying to yak it. And we looked up on the internet, and it said, yeah, I could have these things. And then I had a brief moment where I'm like, I wonder if I threw a razor in the trash can and he got a razor out. That's a whole different problem there. You know, I started like nightmare scenarios.
Oh,
going
yeah.
on. And he would yak and wheeze, and then a little bit of spit would come up.
Does he smoke?
Not anymore.
Oh, okay.
And so we looked it up on the interwebs, and I love looking up symptoms and medical things in the internet because the choices of what it could be ranged from it's fine, he'll sleep it off, over to he's got 30 seconds to live.
Yeah.
You know? And so Bess called the vet. We're like, there's an emergency vet around here. And we've used them before. And, So she called him, and it's, I think it was going to be like $1,000. Okay.
Okay.
And they told Bess, they told her, it sounds like he's stable. Maybe you want to let him go through the night and then take him to his normal vet in the morning if he's not doing okay.
Okay.
Because it's going to be about $1,000. And we've got 17 dogs. This is on a weekend. We've got 17 dogs in the emergency room right now. And at that point, I quit wondering about Marbles, and I started thinking, what the hell happened that 17 dogs are in the emergency room right now?
Sounds like a Stephen King novel.
Yeah. We never took him to the vet because the next day there was less yakking.
Yeah.
And then less and less. And then finally it was just gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a very satisfying end to the story.
Damn, I wish you had told it last week.
It goes.
I waited all week to hear that.
It goes to show you that if you're given the fact that this is $1,000,
yes,
you find other ways to deal with it. You start to believe the pieces of the internet that say, he's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, at least you have a dog. Okay. And when I say that, I mean that you can take your dog to any vet. We have a rabbit.
Yeah.
And you can't take a rabbit just to the vet. You have to take him to the small animal clinic.
Oh.
And I don't know where the nearest small animal clinic is.
Okay.
Because the last time we thought we needed one, we looked, and I think it was 20 or so miles away. Shortly after we got Figgy, we got him in September, and then we went home to Tennessee for Thanksgiving. Okay. While we were gone, we brought Figgy over to Chris and Mary Michael's house, our neighbors. Okay. And we took the cage, the mat, all his toys and his food and his litter and everything.
Did you do a background check on them before you?
We trust them wholeheartedly.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So we took everything over to their house, and they watched Figgy while we were gone. When we came back, both of us were feeling a little, we weren't feeling that great. Turns out Libby got COVID. I had COVID, and Jacob had COVID. Cameron is the only person who didn't have COVID. Okay. So we got home, and here we are, all three of us,
all COVIDed out.
All COVIDed out. Boy, that was a good Thanksgiving, wasn't it? Okay. And then Figgy, and he wasn't acting right. He wasn't bouncing around. He wasn't, I've always said if you want an animal that gives nothing back, get a rabbit.
Yeah.
Okay. But he would at least run from you.
Yeah.
If you tried to approach him, he was like, screw you, I don't,
Yeah.
He was just literally just sitting there. That's all he did. And we're like, okay, something's wrong with the rabbit. And he's not doing anything.
Yeah.
And so I've got a friend, Lisa, who's an animal specialist. She actually went to zoo school. Okay. She's the one who worked on the...
Is that the same place you go to circus school? They have you go to
No, it's a different place.
Zoo?
You always ask me that. It's a different school.
We talk about this so often.
I was talking to her and I was explaining to her, and she says, wait, you took him to their house? I said, yeah. She goes, oh, Darren, you can't do that. Rabbits do not like change of scenery. They do not like that at all. And she said, and the thing was with rabbits is that if they get an upset stomach, they can't just vomit. If they get an upset stomach, that can like kill them. So we're like, okay, great. So I've got COVID. You've got COVID. Jacob has COVID. Every person in this house who can drive can't go anywhere because we have COVID. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, what do we do with this rabbit? And we had to drive him 25 miles or something to get to a small animal clinic. Mm-hmm. And what are they going to do even if we get him out there? And Lisa said, she's like, I'll take him if you need me to. And I said, okay, let's see. And then we waited it out. Mm-hmm. And then the next morning he perked up and started eating. Okay. And then by the 9 or 10 o'clock the next night, he was back. But he was just showing us, I don't like what you did. And so now what we do is if he's acting up, he's being a little like, hey, I'll take you to Chris Michael's house right now. Straighten up, pal.
So I have some follow-up questions. And it's not just for you in this situation, but in general. Mm-hmm. Rabbits, before they were domesticated, were like wild animals, right?
Yes.
Did they get this pissy on their own?
I don't know.
Would like Figgy, if he were out in the wild, would he get just mad if a frog quit coming over to him? And just I'm not eating anymore because you upset me.
I assume wild animals are different than pets.
I just like with the whole marbles thing, and when our dogs have been sick, it's always like, well, you're descended from wolves.
Yeah, yes. You should be a little smarter than this.
Yeah. You never heard of a wolf walking around saying, "Oh, I got an upset tummy."
Yeah,
or I swallowed a rock and now I'm on the side of the field.
You don't see wolves look at their reflection in the raw water and just start barking at it.
No.
You never see a wolf just chasing his tail.
Like, I want to show our dogs a picture of a wolf and say, why can't you be more like this? This is how it was back in the day.
Yeah.
Man
up, you dumbass.
Yeah, you used to have to, 5 or 6 of you would have to get together and take down a woolly mammoth.
Yeah.
And if you didn't, you'd die.
Yeah.
Now you're bitching because we got the wrong freaking kibble.
Yeah.
It's the wrong flavor. I like the chicken. I don't like the lamb.
Oh, God. There was this woman on TikTok who she poured her dog food. The dog wouldn't eat the food. So she picked it up. She put it in the microwave.
Yeah.
She acts like she hits 3 buttons. She takes it out.
Yeah.
And then she takes a spoon and acts like she's stirring it around. But she's not even touching the dog food.
Yeah.
And she sits it down, and then the dog eats it.
I guarantee if she has a heart attack... Within 3 days, that dog's eating her face off.
It's like I see her, and that's funny, but I'm just thinking, if that was my dog, I'm like, don't eat it. I don't care. When you get hungry, you'll eat. You leave the food down. If he doesn't eat it, I'm not going to act and pretend, and little Scoochie Budgie's going to eat the food. Just eat your food.
There was an article I read. It was fascinating. And this
dog.
It was about what would happen if all humans just suddenly disappeared. If they all just, and it talked about household pets.
Yeah.
Figgy's screwed. He's in a cage. He can't. Our dogs are too. Marbles, we think, can escape the house. Right?
Okay. And he better do it before Booba eats marbles.
Booba... We said that
she is going to eat marbles.
She and Marbles would be an excellent team if they managed to get out of there. Like, he can escape anything as long as she's smart enough to follow him, and she can find food to keep him from wandering around eating rocks all the time. But the article went through. It was talking about how the animals that are more like their wild counterparts, like the German shepherds, the more wolf-like of the dogs, would be more likely to survive. The larger and more aggressive cats, not the poofy ones, or those weird skinless cats that or hairless cats that people have. It's like a little old Yoda walking around the house.
No.
Gerbils, screwed. Birds, I mean, they could fly away if they could figure out how to get out of the damn cage.
Yeah.
But it goes through the whole
And once
thing.
they get out of the cage, they can't open the door.
Yeah. Snakes are fine. Snakes can find their way out of anything, which, you know, if you own snakes at home, it might keep you up at night.
Yeah.
But, it was just pretty fascinating. But it's like, I don't think our dogs would make it.
Yeah.
You know?
No,
Yeah.
absolutely.
No.
We have ran overtime.
Yeah.
We want to thank you for listening, and we want you to go to Irritable Dad Syndrome. And we've mentioned this the past couple of weeks, but we have a best of Volume 3 on irritabledadsyndrome.com. We've been doing this over 3 years now. We have a best of year 1, we have a best of year 2, we have a best of year 3. Honestly, best of year 2 I think is my favorite, but I really like best of year 3.
It's got the Loch Ness Monster. It's hard to top the Loch Ness Monster.
I know, it does. So go to irritabledadsyndrome.com if you're new to the podcast, and then you can catch up with us that way. Yeah. Or you can download every episode we have. There's no law that says you can't download every episode. Yeah. What are you waiting for? Come on, do it.
Oh, we also have a YouTube channel.
Yes.
Yeah, all of our episodes are progressively going onto YouTube, which is interesting. It's weird. If you guys follow us on the tweeters, Twitter is a wasteland of human filth right now, so nobody cares what goes on there.
Yeah, I think I'm going to drop my Twitter.
Or X, or whatever the hell it is.
I do.
It's mostly, there are, I was going to tell you this, there's AI bots now that are like following us, and like you'll see this weird picture.
Oh God, AI bots have followed me for years.
Yeah, but like the new ones, they've got like a picture and then they just random political, like this tweet. And it'll say something like the president is, eats waffles in a proclivative manner.
How dare
and
he?
blah blah blah. So whatever.
Yeah.
But so where was I going? Oh yeah, we've got a YouTube. We've got a YouTube channel. We've got clips and things that are flooding the interwebs. Patreon. We've got bonus stuff up there. Some cool stuff.
I'm glad you mentioned that because we have a ton.
We do.
We've got so much.
There is
bonus
a
stuff.
lot. So
if you are a patron, there is definitely a good reason to donate money to this podcast,
and it helps keep this thing running.
Yeah, and almost every single week when I edit the podcast, there's almost something every single week that I set aside. It's good enough to put on the for the site for you people who give Daddy a little stuff. So there, you're welcome. Yeah, we're gonna go.
What happened?
Hope to see you next week on Irritable Dad Syndrome.
See ya.
Irritable Dad Syndrome is a Mike Odell, Darren Cox production.
Hammer, MC Hammer.
He found out they could touch this.
Yeah. We had 102 downloads on Saturday, 7 yesterday. unless they, sorry, 3, 2, 1, cue. Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
See, that was a whole different album there.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That is such a Bono. He would. Whoa. That is. 3, 2, 1. Did I record that? Oh, yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.